Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack something absolutely fascinating. We are pulling back the curtain on a deeply hidden psychological mechanism that secretly controls, well, pretty much every single financial decision you make. If you've ever felt like there's some kind of invisible ceiling on your wealth, you are definitely going to want to pay close attention to the research we're breaking down today. I want you to think about this central question for just a second. Have you ever wondered why two people can grow up in the exact same city, go to the exact same schools, and even start out making the same salary, yet one ends up financially free while the other struggles for decades? It's a total mystery, right? How can two individuals with the exact same foundation experience such vastly different wealth outcomes? Okay, let's dive into this. When we ask that question, most of us jump straight to the usual suspects: intelligence, pure luck, or, the economy. We use these common explanations almost like shields to rationalize our own financial realities. But what if the real answer is way deeper? What if the internal story you've been repeating inside your head every single day is actually the thing quietly controlling your reality?
Section 1. Your brain's prediction machine.
So to really figure this out, we've got to look at the mechanics of the mind. The source material points out something profound here. Your brain isn't just a biological hard drive storing old memories, and crucially, it isn't searching for the truth. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a prediction machine. Every second, it predicts what's going to happen next based on what you've repeatedly told it about yourself and the world. If you've spent years saying, money is hard to make, or people like me never get rich, your brain doesn't argue with you. It simply accepts those statements as instructions because, above all else, it wants consistency.
And once it gets those instructions, it literally starts filtering reality to prove you right. Think about the black car effect. You buy a black car and suddenly, bam, you see them absolutely everywhere. They were always there, but your brain just decided they were important. Money works the exact same way. If your mind believes opportunities don't exist, those negative money beliefs act as a filter. They make you totally blind to actual financial opportunities sitting right in front of you.
Moving on to Section 2, Why Identity Beats Income. And this brilliantly illustrates a core argument we really need to wrap our heads around. Your internal identity, not your paycheck, dictates your financial ceiling. Just look at lottery winners. Why do so many of them lose the whole shebang within a few years? Because their bank account changed, but their identity didn't. A bunch of money entered their life, and their subconscious basically pushed it right back out. Now contrast that with a bankrupt entrepreneur. They might lose millions, yet they often build it all back again. Why? Because they never lost the identity that created the wealth in the first place. Identity always beats income. Your financial ceiling isn't determined by a sudden cash windfall. It's determined by the story you believe about yourself. Section 3, The Prison of Comfort. Now, you might be wondering, if identity is so powerful, why is it so incredibly hard to change? Well, it turns out your brain absolutely despises uncertainty. Thousands of years ago, uncertainty literally meant danger. Leaving the tribe, you'd probably die. Trying something unfamiliar could be fatal. And guess what? That ancient survival system is still running inside you today. So when you think about starting a business, investing, or asking for a raise, it feels terrifying. Building wealth feels uncomfortable, not because it's impossible, but because it's unfamiliar. Your brain interprets those unfamiliar actions as life-threatening danger. It basically confuses unfamiliar with unsafe. Let that sink in for just a second. Comfort becomes a prison. It's a heavy thought, right? But it explains so much about human behavior. This is exactly why people voluntarily stay in jobs they completely hate. It's why they stay stuck in debt, and why they repeat the exact same painful financial mistakes they promise they'd never make again. The familiarity of their current struggle just feels safer to that ancient brain than the uncertainty of financial growth.
Section 4. Rewire your financial brain.
But here is the good news. You do not have to stay in that prison. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it grounds everything in hard science, giving us real hope for breaking out of this evolutionary trap. It's called neuroplasticity. Your brain is remarkably adaptable. Every single repeated thought strengthens certain neural connections, and every repeated action, that strengthens them even more. This literally means you are rewiring your brain every single day, whether you realize it or not. So the question isn't if you're programming your mind, but what you're programming it with. Most folks are running completely on autopilot, waking up to negative headlines, gossip, endless doom scrolling, and then they wonder why abundance feels impossible.
Wealthy thinkers, on the other hand, deliberately curate their inputs. They choose books over gossip, learning skills over mindless entertainment, and long-term thinking over instant gratification. They do this because they know for a fact that today's inputs become tomorrow's identity.
Section 5, the application. So how do we actually apply this? Let's look at a concrete framework from the source material to help you shift this programming immediately, the 7-day money challenge. Here is how it works. For the next 7 days, step 1, notice every single sentence you say out loud about money. Step 2, write them all down. And step 3, ask yourself a really tough question. Look at what you wrote and ask, is this a fact? Or is it just a story I've repeated so many times that it feels like the truth? You have to track and critically interrogate your own subconscious scripts before you can ever hope to change them. So, the crucial point is what you do once you catch those old scripts. You've got to replace them. Dead-end statements like, I can't afford that, or I'm just bad with money, literally shut down your brain's search for solutions. Instead, you want to shift to empowering statements. Instead of, I'll never be rich, try saying, I'm learning the skills to create wealth. Instead of, I'm bad with money, say, I haven't mastered money yet. Notice the mechanical difference there? Empowering sentences open up possibility. Your brain responds totally differently because your identity is shifting. And making that shift kicks off this incredible compounding loop. Step 1, your identity changes. Step 2, because of that, your behavior changes. Step 3, your results change. And step 4, those new results reinforce your new identity. This is the cycle successful people understand. They don't wait to feel perfectly confident before taking action. Every billionaire started with 0 customers. Every successful investor made a terrifying first investment. They take action despite the fear, knowing that confidence is built after the action, not before. Let's move to and see how this builds your overall financial reality. Notice the exact chain reaction happening here. Wealth follows value, value follows skills, skills follow discipline, and discipline, that follows identity. Change who you are, and the money ultimately follows, not by magic, but because your daily decisions slowly start aligning with the person you are becoming. Your financial future isn't built by some magical, massive breakthrough. It is built by thousands of tiny, invisible daily decisions that no one else will ever see. The books you choose to read, the conversations you entertain, the habits you repeat, and the risks you take. Every single one of them is another line of code being written right into your brain. Your mind is always listening, and eventually it becomes exactly who you tell it you are. So as you look at your financial life today, I want to leave you with this one provocative question. Who is writing the code?